And let me know if you can hear me because there's just some audio issues, especially being that we're in a Mercury retrograde. So I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me and that all is good in the hood, okay? Welcome. Today we are going to be talking about a very important topic. We're talking about the financial according to the transits of astrology, speaking to Uranus in this transit, and that will be happening in February. So I wanted to talk to you guys about that. I first want to lead into that with talking about Venus being in Capricorn and making trines to Uranus and Taurus. So we just came off of that energy over the past 3 to 4 weeks. And what we found actually is that the stock market, right, has going through some kind of upheaval, but in a way that actually benefit the powers that be, right? The people who are in government, the people who are CEOs, the people who are authority figures and leaders. Why do I say that? Well, that's because Venus is in Capricorn, right? So that energy of upheaval was a benefit, which is the trine to the Uranus energy in Taurus. There's also Mars in Taurus. So all of that really aggressively went in the favor of the powers that be with that trine. So that was a very impactful thing. If anyone is not familiar with what I'm talking about specifically what is going on with GameStop and what is also going on with Robinhood, right? And so the situation there, as I understand it, but please, if you know more, please comment below and help me to explain it even further. But right now, GameStop is being withheld as being a share that can be bought on Robinhood, which is really because you can sell it, but you can't buy it. Um, and so this kind of hold is actually something that benefits the people and the powers that be, but not the people who are on Robinhood who want to buy the stock. And I think people are like, how is that even possible? How is that even legal? To do that, So that was what happened in January with Venus going through Capricorn. Okay. But what we're actually going to find now when Venus goes into Aquarius, a very different energy, because what's happening here is that Aquarius is a sign of the people. It becomes less about Capricorn, government CEOs, and it becomes more about how business, government, and Saturn energy is helping others and helping the community and the global community specifically at large, in a massive way. So where there was trines to Uranus in January, there's not going to be squares. Okay, so squares become something that you can't see coming. And while the whole drama that happened with GameStop um, was something that kind of was a little like shocking, I feel like there could be something even more um, in that energy, but it's actually possibly could really benefit everyone in the long run. Okay. The thing about this is that this Venus in Aquarius transit is also happening during a Mercury retrograde. So February is a month about a lot of air. Okay. It's a lot of air energy coming through here. That Mercury retrograde happens February the 1st, which is today, and it moves all the way through. Okay. Um, all the way. Mercury is in retrograde for the first 3 weeks of February, okay? While Venus comes here on the 2nd of February. So Venus and Mercury coming together, buying things so that you can own things and have things. So all of this energy, Mercury and Venus, are going to square off. Oh, first of all, they're going to encounter Jupiter and Saturn. So we're going to have a huge old party in Aquarius, right? And then all of this energy is going to combat Uranus, which is at 6 degrees in Taurus, okay? It's not going to combat Uranus in a strong way because uh, Saturn and Jupiter, well, Saturn is at 5 degrees. So Saturn is definitely putting the pressure on Uranus, wanting us to be more disciplined about money matters and how we handle, how we commit to the world, our social status in the world. Saturn is wanting us to have a social status in the world, and so that's going to be the lessons that we're experiencing, and that is all dealing with Uranus and how you're dealing with your money and your values and your moral systems. So these things are going to be challenged. So this has a lot to do with, okay, well, do I have the right kind of money to make me appear to be somebody that people could follow, and somebody that people can influence, in my community. That becomes a part of the story. But Uranus and Taurus can create major changes that bring you into lots of money. It could also create lots of upheaval in which it takes everything that you have away. So you have to be mindful that the Uranus and Taurus energy is the part that's the most unpredictable. It can radically change, in which you are completely in the fixed sign of Taurus. And one of the ways that Taurus becomes very against the grain is by rooting themselves in exactly what Uranus and Taurus. Stock market is the bull, which is a symbol for Taurus. We're also in an ox year, which is also connected to the cattle, right? So we are really, really money focused this year globally, and a lot of people are watching the stock markets and the markets, the global markets. Okay, so I feel like this month is going to also continue to be a shocking and upheaval challenge. I think a lot of people are focused on a lot of things, but you want to be mindful of the status of the financial markets, because this is something that you could not see coming with the square happening. A square is when you're on one side of the corner and the other planet is on the other side of the corner and you can't see each other. So I'm just sharing this, you guys, to Facebook. Let me know if you're in the chat. Let me know if you like this topic. Let me know if you participate in the stock market. Let me know what your concerns, fears, or questions are about with all this going on. Hi, Velvet. So we're having a Venus return in Aquarius. Okay, so wow, what an exciting time, because you're going to be really attractive. Venus, wherever Venus goes, it makes you more attractive in that sign. So if you have Venus in Aquarius, then that's Venus is going to help amp you up. You almost don't even have to try so hard. Um, However, even though Aquarius is a sign where Venus does have to work really hard, she has to work hard in putting together all of the pieces, because Aquarius is so erratic and it's so not focused on beauty that it's progressive in beauty, in the sense that trying to make beauty become something that's universal, trying to make something that beauty have to work really hard to relate to one another, because is not as comfortable in Aquarius, but she can find a way to really connect to a bigger group of people. So it becomes one connecting to a large audience, one connecting to followers, to to the people that really enjoy you. And it's an Aquarius, it's a great time for you. Money energy is really manifesting for you. Love, flirtations, just feeling more attractive, feeling really pleasant, enjoying pleasures, enjoying romance. It's a great time for you if you have Venus in Aquarius. If you don't have Venus in Aquarius, look at where you have Aquarius in your chart, because we all have will speak to what area of life that Venus is going to help bring in more adornment, more pleasures, and all of that. Okay, so this incredible stellium that's happening in Aquarius is like really, really a shift, and a time in which we're going to see some things that I feel like mid year. It will go back and forth between Pisces and Aquarius, and Saturn is still here. So the energy is really air. It's a lot of air. Okay. So I'm just letting people on Facebook know that we're here. And tell me if you know where Aquarius is in your chart. What house does Aquarius rule over? For me, it rules over the fifth house, which has to do with being more creative. And where Aquarius is where we're eccentric. And this is something that I personally have had to learn how to embody and enjoy. In fact, I just had a talk with my partner this morning about my creativity. So this is crazy. Venus goes into Aquarius, and Venus is now in the sign of erratic Aquarius in my fifth house of creativity. And I had a discussion this morning, see how the stars just mirror back to you, about me being more original, me being more creative, allowing myself to be a little unstable and it being okay. And that's a path for me that I've really had to embrace. Then, like, I just see things and want things as beautiful as everyone else does. But with all of this energy in Aquarius, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn, now it's really pushing me to see where is it I'm erratic about my creativity and how to embrace that. That's how Venus helps you. So where Aquarius is in your chart is where you are where is that you are erratic. It's where you're different. It's where you're strikingly shocking. It's where you bring out an uncomfortableness to people. You may not trigger them, some people do, but you just make people a little uncomfortable because it's not natural for people to be in this kind of erratic state of science maniac energy, which is Aquarius. But where Aquarius is also where you're a mad genius, but a genius not, is just so shocking. It's so against the grain and it's madly brilliant. Okay. So you have to embrace it. And that's what Venus is going to show you. When Venus comes into Aquarius, she becomes a scientist. Okay. It's the part of you that embraces the logic, the mentality, the intellectual side. It's a part of you that allows yourself to be a little bit beyond human, right? It's a part of you that becomes more accepting of what makes you alien, what makes you bizarre. Okay? Um so sorry guys, I still haven't shared this so that Facebook can join us. So yeah, so Venus in Aquarius is going to be an important transit because what without Venus in this month, we could discover more harshness in the stock market. Okay? Because it's Venus square a Venus sign, right? In financial markets, what you'll find here is that people are want to at least be pleasant to one another, want to be fair. They just are fighting maybe for different reasons on why they think they are more fair or pleasant. Harshness that comes that people didn't see, right? um so I feel like this could be like people getting taxed. If Venus was not here in February, people could be getting taxed without knowing, something like that. But like maybe we'll forgive you for taxes or maybe we'll give you your money faster or something like that. um and maybe there's just a little bit of strife of how you get your money, or because Mercury's in retrograde, maybe there's some sort of digitalized mistake or something like that. But Venus square Venus, we want to be in harmony, we just don't see where we are in discord. Okay, so what this could be are just some surprising and shocking things about culture, global communities, and the monetary system. Okay, so one question that we have here is: do Venus and Aquarius people ever find love? I think so. My husband is a Venus and Aquarius. Um, Usually, if you have Aquarius energy, you probably either have some Pisces energy, planets in Pisces. You also might have planets in Capricorn, right? So yeah, you are dealing with a lot of Saturnian energy, and this is where Venus actually does thrive very well, and it's what makes Venus in Aquarius very successful in relationships. It's just not your atypical romantic relationship like you see always in the movies. It can be if you're willing to go there, but the natural tendency of Venus in Aquarius is so progressive that um love is for all. And love it with Venus in Aquarius, you could love everyone. You could love everyone you've ever dated, everyone that you just come across because you're so connected to the the networks of love. Okay, because Aquarius is how we all connect and how we're all like this group. So Venus and Aquarius, you do so well if you want love to be around couples, be around other couples, because Aquarius rules the groups of people that you hang around that influence your lifestyle as well. right? This network, these people are the ones who help you get a little bit further in life. So with Venus and Aquarius, to find love, one of the ways I'd recommend is that you're gonna meet love either through a friend. Friendship is key, and it's one of the. This is why Venus and Saturn work well. Venus and Saturn signs aren't so bad because Venus is given the commitment that people really want, and Aquarius, Venus and Aquarius people can be extremely committed once they really lock into that friendship and that vision with the person that they're with. But you also have to be in the lifestyle. So if your lifestyle promotes like being single and you're right around a lot of groups that support that, then the lifestyle will maintain that. Somebody who's, you know, around other couples, then who you hang around with is really who you are. That's a big Aquarius thing to understand. That's who you hang around is your lifestyle, and it becomes more about who you are. And when people like say that in an inspirational way, they're speaking on an Aquarius level. So yeah, the issue that Venus and Aquarius will often have, and people will, you know, push them aside for it, is because Venus is not naturally wanting to connect here. You can have a lot more dismissive energy when Venus is in Saturn signs. People become a lot more of a cutoff, or don't say it like that, don't do it like that, don't be like that. So those are some things that you might want to consider if you have Venus in Aquarius and you're looking for love or you're having some issues, is that sometimes that energy isn't so permissive unless you have somebody who is willing to be so to be submissive, you know, or somebody who just understands the energy and they won't be offended by it. But especially like in dating, Aquarius rules the opposite house of dating, right? Where Leo rules over dating, Aquarius rules the opposite house of it. So there is dating in there, but you have to figure out how to do it in your own unique way. So that would be my advice for Venus and Aquarius. And I probably should do a whole series talking about love languages and how to love or how to find love with your Venus sign. In my opinion, how to do it. So maybe we'll do that. I definitely have a Venus series on fashion and beauty, but maybe we should just talk about the basics, right? So thank you for asking that question because I think that it's going to help a lot of other people. And that's what we do when we're in Aquarius energy. We're trying to help everyone. Okay. We can deal with a lot of loss of pride through this February transit. I had a great conversation with, my, which is the opposite of Aquarius. So with Aquarius, we find that pride and narcissism become a topic of discussion. You'll find that people who have Aquarius placements will often talk about this energy. You know, either they are victims to it, right? Or they just don't like it or something like that because Aquarius is observing its opposite energy, Leo, which embodies that pride and that, self, joy and all of that. So Aquarius's dark side is to kind of deal with some of those, issues. But what's really possible here is that Aquarius embodies their own pride, that Aquarius embodies their own creativity. The issue with dark side Aquarius energy, right? And when we have a stellium in Aquarius, this probably becomes more of a tendency to come up, is the deep feeling of not belonging. Okay. It's feeling like I don't belong to a group. I'm lonely. I don't have a community that I belong to, a group of friends that I network with and we really like do things together. We're trying to do something important in the world together. That's Aquarius energy. This feeling of belonging also becomes a dark sided insecurity in some situations that require Aquarius energy, or where you have Aquarius in your chart. Very much so, you might be dealing with this energy because there's a stellium in Aquarius and it does square off with Taurus, which has Uranus, Mars, and still Lilith there. So there is definitely some dark sidedness that's going to come out when it comes to certain groups of people, how they're handling their money and how it influences other people and other groups, right? And like I said, we already started to see a taste of that with Venus and Capricorn. But now that Venus has joined the party in Aquarius, Venus wants to be a philanthropic type of energy. And she wants to give to people who deserve it, give to people who, the underdog. Venus is fighting for the underdog. So it's not like you couldn't get it yourself, but because you tried hard and people just didn't see you for what you were, people just didn't recognize you or give you recognition, that to give you that recognition, wants to give you the money or the beauty or the rewards of being the underdog, of being the dark horse, of being the slept on person. That's also very big energy in Aquarius because this is the cast out, right? The one who doesn't belong, which is also going to show its face, I think. Personally, in your charts is where you might find those things to be occurring, but very much so on the global level, okay? So now that we've got so much energy on a global level, looking at how the markets could manifest, this is the one of the, people have talked about the one world government or the one type of currency. I don't know if we're moving to a one type of currency, but the level of currency like cryptocurrency and changing currency and changing how we exchange for out what is the IOU, of this year when the eclipse comes over here, because Taurus and Scorpio will be fighting up against Aquarius, and it's going to be a fixed sign fight. Okay. Um, the fixed signs will be radically trying to hold on to their ideals. So I really feel like February is a the launching of the catalyst to November. In November, when the eclipse comes into Taurus and Scorpio, we could start to see some major manifestations of these one world or united or global currencies, right? It's already happening, but something in November might really seal it to be that way. We might see some sort of battle or fight out as to which who wants to be in power, who wants to be in control of it, what platform wants the most used platform, things like that. Who owns what cryptocurrencies, right? Because it's dealing with Taurus. So, like, if a certain group created one out of America versus, Paris or France, like, this is ours, this is ours. That becomes a big thing when you have Taurus energy. So we're moving to, a different type of conflict that we haven't seen before, and it's going to feel very unstable. People are going to be really feeling like insecure about their money and finances because there could be a lot of upheaval as to the value of money and where are we really putting that, on what platform are we really putting that. So this year is very airy. Okay. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the talk today about the financial systems and how the Aquarian work and the cryptocurrencies and the energies that are happening in February are going to manifest. Let me know if you enjoyed these topics about, the stock market. I'd love to bring somebody on who has more, information, experience to talk to you about it, and then we can bounce it off with more astrology types of talks. So if you guys are down for that, let me know. Hit the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next live. Peace and love. Bye.